Welcome back to another episode of Let's Chat Podcast, y'all. I am your host, JoJo.
And I'm Zyra.
Ooh.
We're back.
I know y'all been missing us or whatever. I ain't gonna stop. I missed y'all. I feel like I say that every time we record, but like, we only get each other 1 week at a time. And that's if we don't miss a week. And I'm sorry that we missed a week. But like, time don't be on our side.
It never is.
Adulting does not allow us sometimes.
Yeah. Me and JoJo have the same work schedule now.
Tragic.
Which you'd think would be better, but it's not.
But it's
because
not.
with her previous schedule, she would work so many hours that she had like 3 to 4 days off.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like we're busy every day.
Yeah.
Monday to Saturday.
I haven't really chatted about it yet. I don't think I have I? On here at least. I did quit my job.
Wow.
Yeah, I quit my job. My job of 6 years. That I thought was going to be and counting. But I just, it wasn't in my plan.
I want people to guess what JoJo's career was. Like, please put it in the comments somewhere on YouTube, because I want them to guess to see what you did before.
Yeah, I've been pretty low key about it, but I feel like for those who know, and for those who don't, well, it doesn't matter because I don't work there anymore. All right, y'all. So, couple things. For those of you who listen to us on Spotify, if you're a real one, you've noticed that we posted polls and like questions under, or at least we try to, under each episode that we do, just to kind of get like, your guys' thoughts, a little bit of like your perception and what you think about our episodes. So those of you who have been doing those, thank you. I've actually been reading them, and I find it so cool because I'm like laughing at y'all because I'm like, girl, talk that shit. And if you follow us on Instagram as well, I posted a video this week in regards to this episode, and it was just like a question basically saying, what did you guys think about whatever, and then to get your guys' responses. And oh my god, it was a lot.
It was
a lot, and I was like, boy, I can't wait to do this episode.
She was hype. She was very much hype. But I appreciate you guys answering those questions that JoJo had put on Spotify as well as Instagram. Please trust and believe that we do read the messages. Sometimes we don't respond to everyone just because it could get a little bit overwhelming. Yes. Because y'all be writing us stories. I mean, I'm here for the tea, of course, but I always want to give like a thoughtful response as well, which is sometimes why it takes so long to respond,
Yeah, and it could be quite time consuming.
Yeah, we need an intern.
Yeah, facts. So, again, we did miss last week, or I guess that was last week. We missed last week's episode, but hopefully it gave you guys time to catch up. Shout out to the listener who literally DM'd us and was like, yo, I found y'all and I caught up to all y'all episodes in like what?
She said 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So she listened to like 80 something episodes in 3 weeks, which I love.
I was like, girl, you have my voice on a speaker?
Right. For 83 or 82, 83 hours, whatever.
I don't even know.
Crazy. Yeah. I'm here for it.
But last episode we talked about check-ins. Do you have check-ins with your partner? How it could be helpful, useful, healthy, all that. Mm-hmm. So I did post a poll in that episode that asked, do you have monthly check-ins with your partner? And about 80% of those that answered said not really, and 20% of you said yes. So that's something to think about. Shout out to y'all who do it. No shade on the people who don't.
So 80% don't do them.
Yeah. 80% of like who answered our poll.
I think that's like realistic though.
Yeah.
I've never, in previous relationship, we never really did check-ins.
Yeah. Right.
Which is not a thing.
I mean, I think it's because it's still a learning process.
Of course.
So like how to be just like intentional and in tune with your partner and what you want for your relationship. So
as well as like how to bring it up.
Yeah. Yep. But any responses? I had also put a Q&A, which was, what are ways you and your partner practice communicating? Someone had commented and said, open and honest discussions. Encourage open and honest discussions with my wife. Create a safe space where we both feel comfortable expressing our thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. I love that. That's one thing I do fear is judgment, especially from my partner. I've told her before, like, I care what you think of me. So, like, in terms of, you know, disappointing you or things like that, like, I know it's going to happen at some point, but, you know,
yeah,
I do my best, like, to avoid it if I can. Another listener responded and said, we don't. And that's probably why she decided to divorce me after 10 years.
Not divorce. Yikes. After 10 years.
That's okay. It's for the best.
So long.
Speaking of divorce, after 10 years.
Please tell us.
I don't know if those of you know who I'm about to be chatting about right now, but I'm feeling a little tender about it right now. Yes. You know.
What is she, a soccer? She's a soccer player?
Yes. Little gay me is feeling very tender about this situation. So for those of you who watch soccer or women's sports at that, you probably know who I'm going to talk about. Allie Krieger and Ashlyn Harris. They are two USA women soccer players, and I have been thirst trapping over them all my high school career. So literally all the women on the US team anyway. But I have been following them since my little gay self in high school. Found them on YouTube, of course. And they were like low key. They weren't out there. Mm-hmm. And then they got married in 2019. And so I don't know if that was like their official public outing. But when that wedding happened, I was like, yes, dreams do come true. I'm here for it. I can't wait. Which was beautiful and all. But come to find out, 4 years after their marriage, which mind you, if I'm not mistaken, they were together for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. Low key. But they got married in 2019. And then come to find out, they are fucking divorcing. Ashlyn Harris has filed for divorce.
Tragic.
And then, not even a day or two after I found out that they're divorcing, which my intuition be right, because I ain't seen them posting that much on social media. Uh-huh. But apparently she's dating Sophia Bush.
And who's Sophia Bush?
Sophia Bush is Big Daddy Brooke from One Tree Hill for my what's that TV show lovers?
Her American shows.
Yes.
Never seen it, but yeah, I know all the drama because of her.
Yeah, I'll be texting her and I'll be sending her TikToks and I'll be on all the little gay TikTok drama. But yeah, I'm not happy about that.
I mean, are we surprised?
No, I told you it's breakup season for
people. Be moving funny.
People. This is crazy.
And so, like, I feel like, especially like celebrities, they just be moving funny. Everyone's moving funny nowadays.
But I feel like
everyone.
I don't know, because in that world, it's like, I don't know, when you're around other celebrities, it's just like free range.
Yeah, they just date each other.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm disappointed about it, but nonetheless, I'm also screaming inside because I always knew Sophia Bush had a little gay in her. And she's beautiful, so I'm not mad. I'm just mad that.
So what bothered me about what you told me about, what's her name, Ashlyn? Mm-hmm. And her girl divorcing is the fact that her new girl was commenting on all of their pictures when they were married, talking about, so cute, love y'all, like.
And that's why I be
you were plotting this whole time.
It be the people who like are close or try to be mad interactive in your relationship.
You're weird. Fake.
You're weird.
Fake and weird. Why are you doing that? I mean, why did you do that?
I don't know.
You can't trust nobody. I'm telling you.
that's my juice for today. We want to start a mini, like a opener. I don't know if this is really
it's a new
segment.
segment. It's a new
Is it?
segment.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, other than our updates, we found that sometimes we don't really have many updates come week to week. No. So to, open up with some good old fun, we're gonna do a quickie. We're gonna open with a quickie, yeah, you like that.
Explain what that means.
We're gonna open with a quickie. Okay, so we have so many card games, and I feel like we're always talking about it. One especially that she's gonna pick from is this lesbian card game that
it's called The Ultimate Lesbian Conversation. We've talked about it before.
Yes. So we figured we'd put these cards to use, right, and open with a quickie, meaning we'll pick a card, read any the question. Card. Yeah, any card, just gonna pick it right off the dome. And we're gonna read it and
all right, you do this about it. Here you go. Oh my Lord.
Did you want to read it?
No, you can read it. No, so you can answer
it. It's really fine. It's really fine. So I can answer it?
So you can answer it. Do you like your hair pulled? I'm guessing like in bed, obviously.
Do I like my hair pulled? Gently, yeah, sure. But if you just like yanking me back, no. I'm naturally gonna react and probably headbutt you.
The movie scenes be making it look so ridiculous.
TV makes everything look overly sexy, and you don't realize how awkwardly weird it is until it happens.
Right. All right, we did that one. Nice.
So that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you wanted me to do one? No, we're good.
Yeah.
Next time.
You just answered the same question.
If I like my hair being pulled?
Yeah.
Like you said, gently. I have a really tender head, It's giving trauma for my mom pulling my hair.
Not trauma.
Like really pulling dragging me across the floor type shit.
Yikes.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Yikes. So it's actually triggering for
please
her.
Be gentle. Yeah, and bitches love doing that when you get into fights. So that's another experience that I've had.
So since we're talking about hair, I just want to talk about how I try my best not to touch people's hair. Because my hands sweat so much that if I touch her hair, it's weird. I don't know. It starts getting stuck to my hand, and it's actually the least sexiest thing ever. Especially if I have a grip in my hand and then it comes out and now your hair is all knotted up or staticky because it's been wet in my hand.
Just a mess.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, that was our quickie, y'all. Anything else for your update?
No.
All right. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about relationship breaks. Now,
No. I have to cut you off. So we were coming from an event. Was it an event? I don't know. We were coming from somewhere. We were driving, and Jojo asked me, "What do you think about taking a break?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, like a break from the podcast?" And then she was like, "No, like taking a break." And then I'm like,
"Yeah."
Confused, how does that look though? I didn't even ask questions. I said, how does that look? How does taking a break look? And I didn't realize that you were asking me that because of this.
Yeah, because it's been
because of this episode,
such a constant, I wasn't even thinking about it as an episode. I know that we've previously mentioned breaks, and I feel like I've been hearing a lot about people, even in our family meetings where people are like, oh, such and such wanted to take a break, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yo, it just kept coming up. So I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, fuck it. Why not? And I think that's when I brought it up to you to get your idea of it. Naturally, when it comes to like relationship breaks, people have like a very negative outlook on it. And clearly it's rubbing bitches the wrong way. Because the responses I got to that question when I posted it on Instagram, a lot of people were like, yeah, no, negative, not for it. If that's what they want, they don't really want to be with you. If you know, like, I'm just not here for a break, that just gives them their time to go do whatever they want to do and figure it out. Others were like, oh, like, if you got issues, we can figure that shit out together. Like, that's what is partnership for if we can't do it together type shit. Which, okay, yeah, I mean, that's not wrong. But I also think that it's looked out the wrong way because it's not done correctly. Right? Like, there's always, I feel like sometimes I play a little devil's advocate because for me, it's like there's a flip side to everything. So I for sure was rubbed the wrong way with like the thought of a break, because I too feel like, bitch, why can't we work on that together? Like, what do you need to do so desperately by yourself? But it has its like positive and healthy how you say that? Yeah, babe, help me out. You're supposed to be finishing my sentences.
I can see the pros and cons to it. I feel like, okay, so when you brought it up to me, I didn't question it because I was like, not that I'm not trying to fight, but it's just like I want to hear people out. Like, I want to hear your thought process and like how you think it will look like in a break. Like, if we were to ever take a break. And then in that instance, I was like, no, that doesn't work. Like, that's dumb. Like, what is the point of that, truly? You know, because people really take the advantage of being on a break to fuck around and be with other people. And they just handle it in the wrong way completely. Yeah. In a break, you're supposed to both be working on yourself. Yeah. And sometimes there's one person who's working on themselves and then the other person is just like fucking around. Yeah. Which is obviously not going to work. Like, you guys are supposed to come together, healthier versions of you, work on like yourself, work on getting your life together. And yeah, you can do that together. But I feel like there's some people. So my mind switched after that. Because I thought about people who I know personally and just like from previous experiences that I think if a certain couple who's like a little toxic, if they were to take a break, they would see that they're not good together. They would, like, one person would see like, my life could be so much healthier without this person. Like, I would physically and mentally just be way healthier and way like just more sane. And then I could see one other person feeling like that person is my world and I don't know what to do without them, and like I don't know how to live life without them. Yeah. Which is truly a normal feeling, but there really is some people that depend on you so much that it's like they would be homeless type shit. No joke.
But yeah, I agree. Most times I feel like there's one person who's willing to take it, and then like the other partner usually is not willing to, like, they just don't see a point in it. To them, it's just like immediately like, nah, you want to go do your own thing. But yeah, that's because I feel like most people see it as like one foot out the door. And I think like it, when I say like it's not done correctly or it isn't used for like a healthy solution, because like people just really don't set boundaries and they just go and fucking shoot the shits. And sometimes you got cowardly people who don't like to break up with their partners or don't have like that, you know, just that confidence to be like, listen, we're dead ass like done up over. Yeah. They use that as like to soften that blow. It's like the pre-breakup. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna come back, I just gotta figure me out. And then they make it seem like it's just a them thing. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that because we have our own experiences with like breaks in previous relationships. But prior to getting into that, I wanted to run through like why it doesn't work, and we kind of already talked about it. But most times, like I just said, people use it as a buffer into a full breakup.
It's the pre-breakup.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we were on a break.
Right. And then they go fuck
yeah,
around.
breaking up. Yeah, breaking up. Truly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's the cowardly thing. Another reason is you don't set like clear boundaries. Not clear boundaries. Fuck.
Like rules.
Yeah.
Kind of like rules, because it's like in this break, we both agree that we're not sleeping with other people.
Right. Yeah, but that's not talked about.
No, but it's like you have to talk about that.
Yeah, but I feel like people be like, that's when you're like, oh, I need a break and it's for XYZ. And then obviously you're gonna be like, it's not to be with somebody else. And you're like, nah. But they don't go, all right, well, this is what I need in regards to that break. Like, can we I feel like
clear.
Did you think about that in the terms of a break?
I guess.
But yeah, like there's not clear set boundaries or rules for that time. So most times that doesn't work. There's not you don't sit down and have a clear definition to what a break is.
Yeah.
Like one assumes literally, oh, it's just a breakup, and the other is like, nah, it's just like some time apart.
Yeah. So
I think like that's another reason why it doesn't work, because you don't sit down and really talk about what that break looks like for either one of you. Another reason is someone always takes it as a free pass to get involved with someone else.
It's basically everything it's giving the ultimatum. That's what it's giving.
Yeah.
Jojo asked in our stories, do you believe in relationship breaks? 24% yes it works, 48% no it doesn't, and 28% said tragic. So I'm gonna guess that's gonna be a now. That's gonna be a now.
Hard negative.
And I want to read you guys some of the comments. Un momento. All right, so I'm gonna read like random comments. Somebody said, hold on, let me go to your question. Thoughts on relationship breaks. They said, negative, laugh massive, let's heal on our own love, and if we come together, it was meant to be. Someone said it is if it's rooted on self-growth and healing, then I'm for it. Someone said reflective time, making you guys realize you want to make things work or you need each other. Someone said, I think it helps and brings things to the surface faster. All I got to say on this don't fit in the box. Somebody says sometimes. I think they're both necessary, but when both of you agree, it can be beneficial. Someone said don't agree. Someone will end up doing something that the other will be upset about. No, thank you. Someone said confusing. But yeah, someone said not a good idea. Someone said if both parties are willing to put in the work on the break to work it out, most of the time it is a step away from breaking up, but it can help rebuild if both parties work on themselves. We got so many comments.
So many.
Someone said, don't agree with them. Fuck that. All or nothing. Bullshit. In my experience, the person asking for it wants to test the water and keeps you just in case.
Period.
Yeah. There was so many. Someone said you're better off winning the lottery.
God bless. It was the shade. People are not fucking with it. Obviously, whoever tried it on you was literally leaving a bad taste in your mouth. But nonetheless, we've had our own taste in breaks. So tell me, please, your experience. What is a break to you?
So in my case, it was a little bit interesting because it was kind of more of like a situation, right? Mm-hmm. And I told you this story before, but it was kind of like this person had a lot of healing to do and like growing up to do, right? It just really was always so dramatic. Like our arguments would be so dramatic and like screaming and like literally slamming doors, slamming car doors, crying. It was like really, really dramatic. And me and this person would always argue about this specific girl. And like while we were like dating or whatever, I would be like, I don't know, it's just like I feel, not that I was insecure, but I was like, I feel like you and her are a little bit too close for me. The things that you're buying her isn't like friend stuff. I get friend stuff, but they were never friends before. They just magically became friends all out of nowhere. Like, yeah, friends out of, I never met this girl. Like, you guys are friends out of nowhere. Okay, weird. And I was trying to like not be like sound like a crazy girl or like sound like a, I don't know, insecure girl, but I just think the things that you're doing are inappropriate. It's not giving friend, it's giving you like her. And the girl is straight, and I know what you do with straight girls because I was pretty much straight, quotations, when I met her. And then whatever, things didn't work out on this break or whatever, gotta work on themselves. And then they had called me one day just to like check up on me and stuff. And then I had a feeling that her and the girl were dating. Um, and it was a feeling, but it wasn't confirmed. I feel like you always gotta listen to your gut feeling because most of the time it's right.
Your intuition.
And I wasn't even on social media, y'all, so I couldn't do no stalking. It was just literally a feeling. I'm telling you, like it was weird shit. And they told me that they were dating this girl. And I flipped because I was like, the amount of times that you made me feel crazy when you were low key scheming is disgusting. Don't ever call me again. You're blocked. I'm done with you. Blocked her. Literally last time I spoke to her ever again. Dramatic, yes, don't care, but yeah, I don't know like the behind it, and literally the drama be with me and this girl. It was really bad. And like I said, you made me feel crazy when in reality you were fucking around. And in this little break where you were gonna work on your mental health, you over here dating around. That wasn't the case. Like even if we were to like fix things, it was like, I don't know, like you clearly didn't have those intentions because you clearly had intentions to like date around. I didn't feel played at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you wasn't working on yourself.
You were full of shit.
Yeah, full of it. Full of it. Yeah. That shit got me so heated. Literally deleted and blocked and hung up on her.
I wish we could all be like you. Block.
But like how did y'all get the rave to do that though when people play you? Like how do y'all want to know what they text you? Like I really can't. I'm getting hot just thinking about it.
I don't know. I don't want to say like I want to know what they're gonna say, but at the same time, it's like I do. Especially like if I'm mad and I want to bust back, but it really depends because I'm a softie and I'll just be like wanting to.
Nah, I was at like that was the cherry on top for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you had already inhaled a lot of fuckery.
Yeah, that was the last straw. Yeah, I was like, you're full of it. Yeah, have a nice life.
So for me, now that I think about it, we had like 2 breaks. With my previous relationship. And
not 2 breaks.
Yeah, it was 2 breaks.
That was on and off.
Well, I guess it was 1 break and then it was like the official breakup.
Okay.
But it was still like freshly broken up. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, nah.
I think I remember this story.
The first time the girl came up with like 1,000,001 different reasons, which I took as excuses to why we needed a break. She was basically living with me at the time. And she was just like, I guess trying to make it seem like I need space. I need to figure out my shit. You know, I'm going through a lot, or like there's just things I need to figure out. I need to figure out, work things. I need to figure out personal things.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't want to keep putting that on you. So that would be like one explanation. And then the next day it was like, oh, well, I don't really I'm not happy now with you. And then it's like, oh, well, you don't look like you used to type shit. Like it just was like different every time. And we probably went a couple weeks being on that break. And I also had a feeling that they were like, because I still had her on like social media and stuff.
Prayed yourself?
Yeah, but not really. So
you was the first person watching her story.
Nah, because it wasn't like she was posting all that.
Oh, okay,
but it was
okay.
like it didn't matter because I had mutual friends with this person.
Lord, that's annoying.
Or like people who I knew mutually. Maybe not closest friends, but
Yeah.
people I follow.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like a raver at the time. And she was following somebody that I went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like smoke buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. I guess they went to a rave together. Something happened, blah, blah, blah. And I had a feeling that she was like trying to lean into that girl.
In high school?
Yes.
She was raving in high school?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So whatever. I was like texting her damn near every day, like begging and pleading at this point for her to like come back. And she came over one day, we hung out, and I just remember that's when I went through her phone and I saw like the text messages between her and that girl.
What made you go through her phone?
I don't know, something told me to do it. Like it was a feeling that was like, check that shit.
And how did you do it?
How? What do you mean?
You
how?
just
she was in the bathroom.
Ah, okay.
She was in the bathroom. And something was just like, oh, check that shit. And it was also because
checking somebody's phone, and you're always gonna find something.
But here's
like. This is a little tip for people who want to go through someone's phone. I feel like I shouldn't give this tip, but whatever. I won't be toxic. It's probably the wine. If you want to look through someone's phone, go to like the search bar and like type in your name. And then everything will pop up.
Type in your name?
Yeah. Like
or the person's name?
No, your name.
Okay.
So I would type in like Dyra. Or I would type in like babe or bae or boo. Just to see what you're talking about. And then all the messages that they've ever sent about you or someone else has sent about you will pop up like automatically. So you don't gotta waste your time like scrolling and shit. I don't do that anymore, but something I did before. Continue.
She has my password, y'all. Y'all better stop playing.
I actually don't even remember it. I'm so bad.
Y'all better stop playing. But yeah, I went through her phone, whatever. I saw the messages between her and that girl, and it was literally like a fucking conversation they had prior to her coming over. And it basically was her like fucking confessing her love to her, basically. Literally was like, I think I love you, or like I'm falling in love with you, some shit like that. And yo, that shit was like a stab to a heart, cuz.
What did you do?
I was so salty. I was so hurt.
You should throw her phone.
She came out of the bathroom and she like saw me on her phone. And she had already knew like that was that. And so I told her to leave. I was like, I feel so many things right now. Like, I just don't want to deal with it. So I told her to leave. She tried to explain herself. And, like, I think that was probably, like, the first time I don't remember. I know I yelled at her at some point. I don't know if it was in that moment or, like, after we had the conversation. But, I never have shown rage to her. So, like, I kicked her out. I was like, yeah, you got to go. And then she tried to, like, bring up this excuse. And I was like, you're here because she fucking said no to you. Because she didn't feel the same.
Oh.
The girl was like, yeah. She was like, I don't feel the same.
You sure
so
laughed.
I was like, if that girl would have felt the same, you would not be laying here right now. You would be
I would have laughed. Because how you get the... That's what I would have said. Like, please.
No, because it just, like... After that, it just made so much sense to why she was there. It made sense, like, you know, I was just like, you just got rejected, basically. And no wonder you're fucking here. And I'm over here with open arms. Like a dum-dum. Okay, fucking relax. All like a fool. I'm not ashamed to be a fucking fool in love.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying.
So, anyway, that happened. But... towards the end, like, and that's why I knew. I was like, that break was full of shit. And when it came to like the next break, the break actually turned into a breakup. And that one I knew for sure, like, that was done up. Like, it was about to be the end all be all. Like, so, I've mentioned this prior to, was that last break, there were like signs leading up to it. It was like, oh, you know, she went from one day, we're going to be good. And then I had a feeling and she was just like, we need some time apart. Like, I want to start staying home. I want to blah, blah, blah. at that point, that's when she had that second job. And I was like, she definitely entertaining somebody else or looking to entertain someone else. So,
so was that work?
Yeah, right.
Hilarious.
Right. So she was like, what was it? She like turned off our, because we shared locations. She shut that access off. Her messages went from read receipts on to it off. Like, it was a lot of things. And I was like, wow, like, I already know. Like, this is it. This is it. And what the fuck can I do? Yeah. So 3 weeks after we broke up, I had found out she was fucking with the manager at her other job. Mind you, we were working together. Whatever. It's probably a lot of info for people who know. But yeah, so I blasted on her because I was like, wow, like, just another time that I look fucking dumb. So I blasted on her and I was big mad. I was butthurt for sure. So that put a really bad taste in my mouth about breaks, because I also had mentioned, like, whatever you need, like, I'm here, you know, like, I always do my best to show up for you and, like, you know, be the positive light that you need and all these things. And that's one thing you really can't be, is that person for someone. You know, if people can't show up for themselves, they're not, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's not, you could do whatever you want for a person. You could do everything for a fucking person and it still won't be enough for them, because they're never going to feel whole if they're not, you know, one with themselves. Yeah. So that was what it was. So that put a fucking bad taste in my mouth. That's why I was like, yeah, breaks, fuck that. But that's our experience on that. So to give you guys a little bit more positive outlook on taking a break, here are 5 rules to a healthy relationship break. According to choosingtherapy.com, a break can be a good idea for those who want to work through individual or relationship conflict and stay together, but are not sure how to do so without further harming the relationship. It can also be helpful if you need to develop healthier interpersonal skills, identify core feelings, address past trauma, and address past trauma that may be contributing to relationship conflict or are experiencing relationship burnouts. That's real. We'll talk about relationship burnouts another time. But here are the 5 rules. 1, be honest. Be honest with what you want to achieve with that break, how you view and feel about your relationship, like in that moment, or like where it is that, you know, you guys, I guess, kind of have your fault, if it is the relationship that you need a break from, or if you need it for yourself, you know, say that. Say you need it for, like I said, interpersonal skills and like personal achievements. Also, what are you okay and not okay with, and like throughout that break, you know, again, it's like setting those guidelines and things. That's because major. Like, you really don't, I feel like people open up and be like, I want a break, and then they don't realize what a break could really look like for them. And I think that that's also because realistically, if you're the one asking for the break, you only see like how it could turn out for you, and you're not realizing like that your partner is also getting the break. Yeah. Because usually there's always one that wants it and one that doesn't. 2 is define what a break means to you. We all have different views, and that's, again, asking that question, like, what is a break to you, so that you guys have an understanding, a shared understanding of what it means. If to her it means that she can go out and fuck around, then we're not taking a break, because that's not the idea I have in a break. Number 3 is set a time limit. Agree on an end date. Don't have like an indefinite, I don't know when we can get back together. And like, you know, that just creates that sense of like anxiety, especially for people who actually has anxiety, you know. It's like, that's just gonna fuck with them, because it's like, who wants to wait around to, I mean, we've all been a little dumb and foolish to do it, but you know, it's just better to have a like set time. Give an idea, a month, 2 months, 3 months. I don't know if y'all want to go that long, but yeah. Number 4 is set clear boundaries and expectations. Basically, to minimize all the fuckery that could happen. having set rules just knows that, like, okay, like I can fully trust in my partner and know that they're gonna respect me and be good with the guidelines that we set, you know? It's still kind of having that partnership in a sense when being away. That really just all comes down to respect. And number 5 is communicate openly. Have grace for each other because you're both going through the break. Again, like I just said, like you don't realize like as the person who doesn't want the break, that break is also for you. Like you can't stop your partner from taking that break. If that's what they need and that's what you're agreeing upon, then it's going to happen. But how are you going to spend that break? Are you going to get up every day wishing that you were together with your partner? I mean, essentially you probably are going to miss them, but it's like, what are you doing to help, you know, grow yourself in that time that you guys are apart? What are you doing? And like better habits are you creating, or new skills and new things like you're getting into to help yourself grow? You know, because obviously when you guys come back, you know, you're going to be a different version of each other. Yeah. And honestly, I would want a different version of my partner. Obviously the better version, in hopes that like we can move forward and like be on a clearer path. But sometimes that might not be. Sometimes you might realize that, okay, I've realized a lot of things in that break about me personally, and no like disrespect towards you, or you know, not having love for our relationship, but maybe it was a space needed to know that like we shouldn't be together. Yeah, you know, it does a lot of things. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it was because, you know, getting older, you start to realize a lot of things. Especially, I feel like if you've been in, I haven't been in many relationships. I'm not going to say I've been in a bunch. I've had situationships. I've had my 2 serious relationships. And I think just in that alone and seeing others' relationships, like, I don't know, it's given me a lot of like thoughts and ideas of things. So I just think like I see what I don't want and find ways on how I can work on what I do want. Yeah. So I think that's why I thought about it, because I was like, everything can't be negative, you know? Yeah. There's got to be a purpose for this. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see and understand why a lot of people are against it. Even myself, like, my initial reaction was like, what? No. But you got to see like the positive of things. And I feel like, as cliche as it sounds, a lot of lesbian couples move very quickly, and sometimes they don't know what it's like to literally be alone. And I think that being alone is so important. Just like being able to literally just sit within your own thoughts and like make your own decisions without someone else always guiding you, or always being next to you, or always being by your side. Like, for example, like we did a fitness class where we tried a few, but there was one that I was like, I would never go to that fitness class without you. But then thinking of it, it's like I can't think like that. Yeah. Like, I can go to a fitness class without you. I've done it in the past. Why can I do it now? Right. It's like when you're in a relationship, you guys depend on each other so much that it's like you feel like you can't do things without this person, but you can, and you have. And I also think that like in lesbian relationships, like, since sometimes we are very quick to move in together, and it could be even straight relationships, whatever. We don't have to categorize it. For example, like, you've never lived on your own. Yeah. So I feel like in that sense, it was like I thought of, oh, maybe it would be good for you to like learn what it's like to live on your own. Yeah. Since I've had that experience before, I feel like, you know, it would make sense for you to have it as well. Just to have it. Like, I don't know. It's like we're human. We should experience things by ourselves. We should do things alone. We should travel and do things by, I don't know. That's just my mentality. But I can understand why people are like, well, why can't we do that together? Because I also can agree with that. Like, we should be able to do these things together. But being attached at the hips all the time is also not it.
Yeah. From growing up to being with your parents all the time and like your siblings, and then now you're old enough to have friends, so you're with your friends all the time, and then you find the person that you want to date, now you're with that person all the time. So it's just like, in all actuality, when do you ever really get that time to yourself to like grow on your own? And I mean, other than like the whole not living alone, or like on my own.
Mm-hmm.
In that time that I feel like I was single, I was like getting a lot of that individuality.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get in a relationship, you kind of filter yourself, and that just happens when you're in a relationship. But I
Yeah.
think like everything is essentially comes down to communication, right, with your partner. So I think in communicating, like, I think that this would be beneficial not only to our relationship, because I get to have that individuality and we are able to like health how do you say that, healthily, not healthily, that's not a fucking
You
word,
made up your word.
right? We can be apart in a healthy way,
Mm-hmm.
without having to be, joined at the hip.
Yeah.
So it's like I have something to run. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
don't feel suffocated.
Yeah.
Like if we're living together and we're doing all activities
Yeah.
together, it's like, yes, I want to do those things with you, but at the same time, I want something that's mine and mine solely. So it's like, what can I escape from this?
I also feel like when you're in a relationship, you don't see how other people see it outside of it, if that makes sense. Not that other people's opinion matters, but I feel like when you're in a relationship, you're kind of like blindsided and you just see like you and your person. But I feel like when you step out of that relationship, you come to realize like a lot of things.
Yep.
That other people probably notice too and see.
You get the outside view.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wow, like I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
So would you consider a break?
I don't think we need one.
I'm just asking.
I mean, do you think we need one?
I don't think that we need one, but I think at one point it would be, I see us doing it. Like, just to be like, yeah, what would you do by yourself? Or
Yeah.
what'd you do on your own, I could see us doing it like a month.
Yeah.
And just like, because I think that what also, the reason why I can envision us doing it in like a positive light is because I feel like we're very heavy into like our individuality. And it's like, we know the people that we were prior to this relationship, even though we notice like we're good together, there's things that I feel like we miss, or things that maybe we feel like has inhibited us from getting to levels that we want to get to separately. Yeah. We talked about that in the car when I had brought it up. And I think for me, not that I don't feel like I can do things on my own, but I think like, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. But like for you, I know you're a person who really like has things that you want to succeed in, or things that you want to try, and it's like, I want you to be able to do that. And I don't want to be, not that I'm saying I am, but I don't want to be that inhibitor for you that's allowing you not to do it,
Yeah.
So I just think like in a space where we know we've agreed to like that time apart, that you're gonna take that time that to give into yourself, So like I would want to see that, and see what you come up with. You're a very ambitious person, so I know like you'll get into some shit, and I might come back as a sugar baby, you feel me? Like, that's really the goal here, for you to take care of me.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to be the mask that stays at home, like that couple on TikTok.
I'm crying.
But seriously, like, again, like, not that, we're constantly growing and shit, so obviously, we've grown together a lot, but I kind of want to see what you could do on your own too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's questions is like, well, why would you want that? Like, aren't you scared that they won't come back, or that they might like their life like that? I'd probably be butthurt for sure, but if that's what it's supposed to be, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right, you can't force things.
Yeah. I think I've had my fair share of begging and pleading. I'm not gonna do it now.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like, you can tell a person you love them and they either believe it or not, but just because you love a person doesn't mean like that's enough for them to stay. Sometimes you do got to put you first. But I told her we would have to be friends for sure. The one thing she
friends.
The one thing she don't friends with exes. I was like, girl, you gotta be my friend. Like, you gotta be my friend. You can't not be my friend.
You know, I'm not friends with them.
For me.
Okay.
The hell. I gotta be different somewhere. I ain't fuck up.
That's true.
All right, y'all. But that is it for our episode today on breaks. I hope you guys liked it, loved it, got what you were looking for. Again, remember to leave a comment or answer our Q&A and polls at the end of this episode. Now we gonna get into a family meeting.
Yes. All right. Un momento.
We're a little unprepared.
So I came to an unpleasant revelation and realized that my past 2 exes weren't invested in my own sexual needs. But once I sensed that, instead of doing something about it, I just lose interest in my own needs and I work to satisfy them. I just broke up with my girlfriend of 11 months and realized that I've barely had anything done to me. Example, I haven't been eating out since last year. Being pleased sexually has always been hard for me, even when I was with men. But now that I'm out and with women, I just don't understand why I'm still in this spot. I just want someone who wants to pleasure me as much as I would to them. How can I get past this? I don't want to make assumptions, but I am imagining that this person could be a little bit more masculine and more like the aggressive person or whatever you want to call it, because I feel like this is what I've heard about like masks, that like sometimes they'll date someone who's like more feminine than them, and then like they're not being pleased how they should be, even though they're both women. But I could be making assumptions, you know?
I'm about to say, I feel like there's some masculine presenting lesbians too that, you know, are all big daddies when the door is open. Well, when the door is closed, they're getting their back rope. And I feel like I could see that because, you know, how y'all say it, dom femmes, like that's a thing now.
Yeah.
So I could see that being a thing too, where it's just like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
My mask girlfriend goes at it for a second and then she want to get her turn in, so then I give more of the I'm more of the giving.
This situation is so hard. I actually used to date someone who was like mask presenting, and they were dating someone for years before, and that person, she told me that person probably ate them out like maybe 2 or 3 times in the years that they were dating, like 5 years. And I was new to the lesbian world, so I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And it's hard because it's like, how do you have that conversation?
About doing it or not doing it?
About you wanting to also be pleased.
Yeah. I had a hard time with that because essentially when I was getting into like the whole sexual thing, I didn't speak up much. I just felt like it was a little awkward and uncomfortable to like speak up about it. So, naturally, like I was the giver, and I love being a giver. That's not an issue. But sometimes it was like, damn, like at least try, like, you know, at least try and like act like you want to top me or something, you know. Like it's the thought that counts. But I also think that was because I didn't know, like, you gotta know your body. And I feel like if we don't know ourselves, then how are we supposed to expect someone else to know us? So I think that was one of the things that I had to figure out too, is like, well, how do I like to be pleased, or what is pleasing for me? Because then I can relate it to that person. Because that was also something that I learned. I was like, I can't please every girl the same way, you know, and expect to get the same reaction. Because when I first started, I was thinking that way. I was like, oh, you know, it's all the same. And it's just like, then I'm salty when I don't get the same reactions. Like, oh, was I not doing something right? So it's definitely like, you know, sometimes you got to speak up and tell them like, listen, I wouldn't mind if like we can do this for like my sense of pleasure, you know? Cuz then you'd be quick to tell them no if they're doing it wrong, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I think like knowing yourself and then it'll help you being able to speak up and tell them. And if they get butthurt about it, then it's just not the person you should be fucking around with.
But how would you bring it up?
What do you mean, how would I bring it up?
What words would you use? You need to give people an example. It's so easy to be like, communicate.
Give an example. Well,
communicate.
Yeah, because you either know your person and know how they're gonna take it, or you don't. I can't just be like, I can't tell you how to say something and give you a verbatim, and then you take my verbatim and give it to them, and they're not receiving of it.
That's
you know. So I think like I don't like to give examples. She always just be trying to get me. She was like, I need an example. You can't tell me things and not give me no. It's all situational. I can't just give you. But I don't know. I think for me, I'm a joker. I don't like. I like to take things lightly or like give it lightly, so it's not like so serious. So it doesn't come off like an asshole or offensive.
She'd be like, my turn.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. But yeah.
I know, but I could. Sometimes I'd be like,
that's what you gotta say. My turn.
You sure you don't wanna? I mean, I'm open to it if you want to try. But that's something I'm still continuously working on. That has never like stopped. Look at my leg all in the picture. Okay. That's like I said, that's something that I'm still working on because again, like I am very much a giver. I love being like a little giving top energy, you know, a little bit of aggressor respectfully. But I think like I still try to like be open to like letting the other person come on to me and take the lead.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of sexy a little bit. But again, it all depends on like the people. The ones who want to do it are going to do it.
That's true. Maybe those people just weren't for you, honestly.
Yeah, because again too, like you have to be like, they have to ask you too, like, oh, is that fine? Is that like, how do you know, they're considerate of you just as you are of them.
Period.
And then once that happens, you feel that comfort and you're like, oh yeah, I can fuck with this. I'm definitely gonna ask next time.
All right, next question. It is kind of hard to put these feelings into words. I'm a queer individual who has recently been struggling understanding what I feel. I am in a relationship with an amazing man, but I have been fighting with my inner self. I keep thinking about women. Sometimes I can't talk. And if I am just lying to myself, there is so much at stake. My parents are religious. I love his family, and it would kill me to hurt him. He is the dream man, the exception. I'm just very confused, and I don't know how to fix this. I have no friends to tell this to. Some advice would be helpful.
Oh, Bruno's crying for you.
Our dogs are crying.
Yeah.
This is hard.
It is hard. It is excruciatingly difficult. Because like you said, like in your mind, you know, like, oh, this is any girl's picture perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do I seriously lose? I think we're all in fear of losing what we have and what we're comfortable with and what we think is good for us. And sometimes I think what is good for us has an expiration date. It's not. There's always something better for us. Not saying that you always need to think about, oh, what's the next best thing. But I think like you do have that idea and that feeling inside yourself that's saying like that thought's always gonna be there and it's never gonna fly. Yeah. So it's like to take that chance on yourself or to not. I don't know. That's hard.
I mean, I think it's hard to be like the bad guy, but
yeah.
The last guy that I was like in a relationship with, I broke up with them. And at that time, it was a long distance relationship. And I broke up with them when they came to visit me. So it was honestly terrible, terrible, terrible. But I just knew I could not continue doing it. I couldn't continue faking it. And like also the long distance thing just wasn't working for me. Um like physically there was no sexual connection, and like mentally I feel like we were just like it was just not clicking. And I was like, I can't keep forcing myself to be in this relationship if I'm not happy. Like I would literally cry because I'm like, how am I gonna break up with this person? Like it would stress me out OD. And I did it, and I mean I felt like shit, but it was like you don't have to tell them the reason. I mean obviously you can if you want to, but you gotta break up with them.
Yeah.
You know, there's no easy way to break up with somebody. There's no easy way.
Because you think about all the factors of like, well, you know, how's he gonna take it? How's the family gonna take it?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I thought about
it's
all of
so
that.
many
Uh-huh.
things, and it's like, well, what about you though?
Right.
You know what?
Like what about your mental health, and what
Yeah.
about your needs and like your wants, and like you're in a weird place because it's like, oh, you're breaking up with someone, and then it's like you might want to come out later, and it's a really confusing time.
Yes.
Like a very confusing time, and it's gonna take some time to like come to terms with it.
Yeah.
You know, because I know you said your parents are like religious and stuff, and like I really thought that like when I came out, like my parents were really not gonna be with it. Like not that they're religious, but they are very old school. So like young parents who are old school, it's terrible. And I was just like, that's it. Like there's really like this is probably gonna be it. Like they're probably not gonna fuck with me. And it came out to be the complete opposite of that. So you really never know their reaction. But at the same time, I don't want to tell you that if you still live with your parents and like that's like your safe space, because I feel like if you were to come out and your parents take it bad, then it's like, where is your safe space? So it's something that obviously you have to think about. But the first step is to be upfront with this person and tell them that, you know, you don't see yourself with them in the long term. Don't see yourself marrying them. And it's going to hurt them. But
or not even if you're like, oh, I don't see myself with you. It's just like I am facing inner,
yeah, like you're questioning yourself and your
inner
sexuality.
things, and it's like I know that like I love you, or you know, I know that this is good, but it's just like I still gotta be true to myself in some way.
Yeah.
And I feel like someone who understands it, I don't know, it's a hit or miss, because some people understand like if you're fighting inner things, or you know there's confusion going on, people could be very supportive of it and be like, well, what do we need to help you like overcome that or figure that out? And then there's some people who just won't understand. But it sucks because you said like you don't really have people closest to you or like friends that can have, you know, you can have that conversation with. So I can't imagine like the weight of that on your shoulders. But
all you need is one good friend, though.
Yeah, I don't know if our response helped, but
yeah,
just, you know, remember, you know, whatever is being true to you. Because in all honesty, we all we got.
Right.
We die alone, y'all. Hate to be so
scary,
vague, but we die alone. So
all right, yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'm serious about the subscribe on our YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast, if that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The more ratings and the more subscribers that we get, the more visibility our podcast get, and then the more people we could bring on the podcast. We haven't had too many guests on, but we do want to bring more guests in, but we do need your help in order to do so. So please make sure to do that if you love us.
Valid.
We talked about this before, but we are going to come back on Patreon. The date is going to be on Instagram.
Y'all are sick of us.
No, the date's going to be on Instagram, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. We're going to have different tiers, but this time each tier is going to have the option to join like a live Zoom call where we get to talk to you guys get to talk to us, and make it more interactive. And like I said, this is going to be for all the tiers, so just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Deuce, mother goose.
Bye.